we're making the case around here that he is not just everywhere in the Old Testament. He is the very word that is being put forward in the Old Testament. More specifically, he is YAHUAHA. Now, that's the Paleo for Yahweh or Yahweh or Yahuwah, however you want to pronounce that. And, chalk it up to doctrinal differences if you want. I am under the impression and the conviction that YAHUAHA is the son of YAHUAHA. YAHUAHA or Yahweh is not the father, right? We always say, Jehovah, right? He's the father. No, he's not. He was the king that was brought forward and declared the chief heir over all creation, YAHUAHA. He is the Elohim of Israel, of Yasharel, and he manifested, became man, and we know him now as Yahusha HaMashiach. Last week, I went over these passages, so to not be too repetitive, and sometimes you have to be, right? You have to just repeat this every week. And I know that new people come in from week to week, so you can be lost, and I don't want you to be. I showed this here as part of my evidence of the building evidence that YAHUAHA is Yahusha HaMashiach. And I showed the connection that every knee shall bow. So we see right here in Isaiah, this is the popular passage that Paul is quoting from, where it's YAHUAHA is talking. He calls himself Yeshua, the Savior. And he says, "Look unto me, all ye that be saved," which is what we're to do with Yeshua. We're to look upon him, just as Moses lifted, the staff in the wilderness. We're to look upon him and be saved. And it says that unto me, YAHUAHA, every knee shall bow and every tongue shall swear. They shall all declare that he is the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. So Paul later quotes from that. And what's great about Philippians chapter 2, 9 through 11, he says it again in Romans, but let's just read this real quick. He says, "Wherefore Elohim," now in this case, Elohim would be the Father, or Elohim, or just we could put God there. Wherefore God, right? "Wherefore Elohim also hath highly exalted him and given him a name which is above every name, that at the name of Yahusha HaMashiach, Yeshua, every knee should bow, of things in heaven and things in earth and things under the earth." Now he's quoting from Isaiah there. "And that every tongue should confess that YAHUAHA is Yahusha HaMashiach, to the glory of Elohim, the Father." So right there, Paul is saying, he's writing to believers at Philippi who are going to the synagogue on Sabbath. And he's like, that God of Israel that you worship, that you claim to be in a covenant with, his name is YAHUAHA, or Yahweh, or however they pronounced it in Philippi. I don't know. I wasn't there. He's telling you, by the way, that is Messiah. Every tongue should confess that God of the Old Testament, who you're in a covenant relationship, YAHUAHA, is Yahusha HaMashiach, to the glory of Elohim, the Father. He repeats it again in Romans chapter 14 over here. Well, I want to give you another interesting piece of evidence here. And some of you might be, wondering, why is this important to this discussion? Well, it helps when because Christians are raised to believe that you have this Old Testament, which takes up the majority of the Bible, which we are no longer to adhere to. We no longer, we can cherry pick, we like maybe what a prophet says in this little paragraph right here, but not the next one. We're not the one that precedes it that, actually is the point they're trying to make. No. We're just going to cherry pick, right? This idea that the Torah has been done away with is so outlandish, and it is one of the biggest cases of cognitive dissonance that I have ever seen. It seems like it basically affects everybody. And if you take out the Torah from the Bible, the whole thing is gutted bare. Like it is no longer operable. It doesn't work, let alone the atoning sacrifice. If you do away with the Torah, you no longer have an atoning sacrifice. But here's just another connection right here, the YAHUAHA and Yahusha connection, 10,000s of his holy ones. And I'm going to show you that Yahushua HaMashiach was the one delivering the Torah on Mount Sinai. In fact, he was the one to manifest before Israel. The very guy walking around, from Nazareth in the Gospels, he was there on Mount Sinai. This is what we read from the Paleo in Dabaream, that would be Deuteronomy 33. YAHUAHA, the ever-living, has come from Sinai, that would be Sinai, and has sprung forth from Sha'ayar unto them, shining forth from Mount Paran, and he arrived with a myriad of the set-apart ones. Now, I'm going to quickly, just to give you a little bit of clarification on this, I'm going to jump over here to the NASV. This is what it reads. This is the blessing with which Moses, the man of God, blessed the people of Israel before his death. And he said, YAHUAHA came from Sinai, and dawned from Seir upon us. He shone forth from Mount Paran. He came from the 10,000s of holy ones with flaming fire at his right hand. Yes, he loved his people. All his holy ones were in his hand. So they followed in your steps, receiving direction from you when Moses commanded us a Torah as a possession for the assembly of Yaakov, or Jacob. That's Deuteronomy 33. So in this context, what is happening? YAHUAHA is coming to Mount Sinai. He is delivering the Torah as instruction. Instructions in what? Righteous living. We'll see more of that in a minute. But notice there the phrase, the 10,000. I find that really interesting. Well, in this parable of Enoch, this is Enoch chapter 1, he prophesies this very thing. He says, the Holy Great One will come forth from his dwelling, and the eternal Elohim will tread upon the earth, even on Mount Sinai, and appear from his camp and appear in the strength of his might from the heaven of heaven. So I'm thinking this is describing the same scene. Well, look what he says here. And behold, he cometh with 10,000s of his holy ones to execute judgment upon all and to destroy all the unrighteous. Now, to be fair, this is probably jumping ahead because this is, on one hand, he's coming down to Mount Sinai, which Moses attributes. He came there with 10,000 of his holy ones. That's an amazing description. I mean, keep in mind, Moses is describing this in Deuteronomy of referring to Mount Sinai. And I don't know, did the people in the camp see the 10,000? I don't know. I wasn't there. But here we see him again coming. The context is the same Elohim, same Allahayam. He's coming with 10,000s of his holy ones to execute judgment. Well, let's look what we read in Jude. Yehuda 1:14. Of course, this is Yahusha's brother. It was also about these that Enoch, the seventh from Adam, prophesied, saying, behold, YAHUAHA comes with 10,000s of his holy ones to execute judgment on all and to convict all the ungodly of all their deeds of ungodliness that they have committed in such an ungodly way, and of all the harsh things that ungodly sinners have spoken against him. Guys, he's talking about the second coming, or the return of Yahusha HaMashiach right there. Yahusha, when he returns, in this context, he is YAHUAHA in the flesh.
Hey, Polyhard here. Was calling my dad this morning, wishing him a Happy New Year, and he said, hey, Happy New Year back, son. And he was listening to Alexander Scornby read the book of Ezekiel on audiobook, and I was like, that's awesome. I love listening to good translations, but the thing is, with a lot of times when I go to research biblical translations, I want to look up a passage, I want to see what the original Hebrew says, and I want to see what the real meaning is behind it, and I can't find a lot of good translations out there. I go to BibleHub.com, 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 and I go there and I'll look at each word and find out what the best solution is to this verse. If I want to try to look at something in the context of something else. Really interesting stuff. My friend Pamela Glasgow is translating the entire Bible into the Paleo Hebrew, the first written language of the Hebrews. It was Paleo. It was like a pictorial language. It's not only spelt and built, it's it's a unique pictorial language, kind of like the Chinese or Japanese or Korean is a pictorial language as well as a said language and a spelt language. When you add a different thing to the end, it creates the entire idea from the beginning, makes it a new idea. So Paleo Hebrew, really impactful, and we are raising money for her to do that for a full-time job / business / career / ministry. And Noel Hadley with the unexpectedcosmology.com is leading the charge on getting her translations out to the world. So below, I'm going to list a link on how you can give to see the Paleo Hebrew Bible come to its full fruition. Also, she's got some of the Bible, I believe all the Torah, and some of the Psalms are being done now. It's a continual work, but I'm excited. It's going to be spectacular. So how you can help this come to pass is by your financial gift, your giving to Pamela, so that she can continue on in the calling of her life, which it's going to be awesome. One day I want to go to BibleHub.com and see the Paleo Hebrew as well, which would be mind-blowing. So you have a good day, and I'll see you later. Bye.